Hi everyone and welcome to this tutorial, and the tutorial is going to be on macro variables and also macro programs. So let me just show what is a macro variable in a second. So let's imagine that I have to run a libname. Let's say libname bstf5, and now I have to indicate the path, right? So let me just run it because that's how we usually start our programs. So I can run it like this, F3, and it will tell me that the library was successfully assigned and stuff like that. What I could also do, I could actually create the variable, macro variable, using the %let statement. %let equals path. So the path is the name of the macro variable that I'm creating, and I could add this part here, and that will be my macro variable. So let me just run it to show it to you. So that's it. Let me do it in a second. Okay, perfect. So I created that macro variable, this one, and now what I could do, instead of specifying the path, I can actually just create, indicate or refer to the macro variable that I created, and path. And let me rerun it. And again, it says to me that the libref bstf5 was successfully assigned as follows. So in other words, to create a macro variable, let me just type it here. To create a macro variable, you must 1. Use %let to indicate the name, i.e. path equals, and 3, set what it equals to, and can be anything that you want it to equal to. What is also important, guys, like if you input your macro variable in quotation marks, make sure that these marks are actually double quotation marks and not single quotation marks. Let me just show it to you here. So now I have this macro variable called path, and could I run it? I mean, that libname statement was already created, but now you can see that library bstf5 does not exist. So now it couldn't run it because it doesn't know where actually that library exists, right? But once I use the double quotation marks, it will work. You see? So what happens is that if you include your call for a macro variable in single quotation marks, they become opaque for SAS, and SAS does not identify that there is a macro variable there. And if you include the macro variable into double quotation marks, then SAS can see through them, and then it can read your macro variable. So let me just add another step. Call the macro using and its name. Okay, so this is pretty much how it works, and now let's just play with it a little bit here. Let's go. So let's imagine that we would like to call a few data sets, and also one data set, and also a few variables. You can make your %let macro name equal to many things at once, not only one. Like you can make equal to a list. So let's go. Creating a macro variable. Creating a macro variable for the data set and variables. You will see how, like, it's a lot of fun actually. I really love macros. So %let, and we'll call it set. So that's the name of the macro that we're going to be calling, and let's put it customer D. That's our data set that we're going to be using. Another one, %let VR, let's say variable, customer underscore gender, customer underscore type, and customer underscore country. So that's what we are creating here. Now we are going to print this file and print out only these variables. So let's go, we will print them out later. So let's go title, printing the data set and set. So we are expecting SAS to open the data set here. So let me just do it in other words. So printing the data set customer dim. I will just show to you what we are doing exactly. Proc print data equals bst405 customer underscore dim run title. So what we're going to do, since we set our variable set equal to customer dim, we are going just to call it here, and we will ask SAS to unpack it, and here as well, and set. So now when we are printing it, we should get the result. Something happened, and I will tell you what happened actually. So let me see. bst405 and set. First of all, I didn't run the variables, right? I didn't run these variables first of all. Now let me see. Now it should work actually. So let me check. Okay, yes, now it worked. We could also set observations of equals 10, so that we don't have the full data set printed. Okay, so we have this data set, and the name is printing the data set customer dim. So that's exactly what we wanted. Now we may also only want to print customer gender, customer country, or customer type. What else did we ask? Customer country. So let's imagine that that's what we would like to print. So we can use here the var statement, var, and we can use and vr. So we'll call the second variable now, and let's print it, and let's see what we have here. So we have only 3 variables now out of the whole data set. So that's how it works. Let's move on. Where else can we use them? Let me show it to you. So here we use the macro in different ways. So you see set and VR. Let's move on, and let's, for example, run our procfrac, and let's get some frequency stats for our variables, the ones that we set here. So title, customer info, let's say, and procfrac data equals bst405. We are not going to ask it to call to type the whole set, right? We are not going to type the whole data set, but we are going just to do this, and tables and vr. So we are going to ask SAS to print here customer dim, and to print here these variables we indicated before when we were creating the macro variable called VR. So in general, we should expect to see 3 tables: customer gender, customer type, and customer country. Okay, so let me just retype this one to and set, and let's do this. Okay, so let's check the result. We can see that we have about 39% of females in our data set and 61 males, and we also can see members who are online customers, who are high or heavy members, heavy users of our services, medium users, and so on. And also, like, you can see the percentage of that, and you can also see what countries customers come from. For example, there is about 36% of customers that come from the United States, and so on. So that gives you like some very primitive statistics, but it can help you to to start and analyze your data. You could also do something like, you know, you could also use macros for some other things, and let me show to you what you can do. So let's go. Run proc means. We are going to create a macro with the simputx function. And again, that simputx function is going to help us create a separate macro that we'll later call in our in another data set. So let's go. Running proc means and creating macros from it. So proc means data equals c proc print. I do it so often that I did it automatically. 5 client purchases. Actually, since we're going to use client purchases a lot, we're going to create another macro. We'll call it client purchases. So %let set2 equals client underscore purchases. And actually we can call it bsta445 dot. Is that what I'm going to use? Yeah, why not? So client purchases together with bsta445. So every time we want to use these, we will just be typing and set2. Okay, so we created our function. Do we have, did I run the code? Yeah, I should have. 0 results, interesting. Okay, yeah, so that's okay. I mean, we do not see any errors, perfect. So instead of typing the whole thing, we'll just type it here and set2. Proc means and set2, and we are interested in the mean. That's all we want to get. And vars, we are going to do total underscore purchase. I know, guys, you didn't see this data set. I didn't show it to you. But just now we are focusing on something else, so output out total purge. So here we are asking SAS to calculate the mean of the total purchase, basically for the across the whole data set, and we are asking it to create a new data set. It's going to be called total purchase. We want it to give us the mean value, and we want that suffix mean, due to the using of the auto name option, to be added to the total purchase variable. Actually, we can check out the data set. Proc print data equals and set2 print. Oh, run. Sorry, run. And let's see what we have here, and let me also do ops equals 3. So fn, let me show to you what we are trying to do here. So our goal in this data set, we have here information about what people buy, when, what they purchase, how much they spent on their purchase, gender, payment, item code, store, and their total purchase. So that's what we have. And what we would like to do now, we would actually like to calculate the mean total purchase. And after that, we would like to see if the customer spending is above or under the mean, and if it's above, by how much, and if it's under, by how much is it under. We're going to basically create a ratio of a total purchase over the mean. So let me come back to this program. We are accessing this data set. We are calculating the mean for the total purchase. We are placing the results into a separate data set called total purge. And we want the new variable where the mean values will be located to be called total purchase. So run, and we can actually proc print that file. Proc print data equals total underscore purge, run. But also what we would like to do here, we want to use the n way, and also no print options again, so that we do not have any any grand mean, though actually we're interested in the grand mean, but we'll calculate it in a different way. And also we do not want to see it printed here, like in the results window. So let's run both. Here we go, we have type, frag, and total purchase mean. It's $71. We can actually just ask to drop type underscore type. So let's do it. Let's ask SAS to drop them, underscore type and underscore frag. So now we'll just have only one value in our data set that we are creating. It will be total purchase underscore mean. Okay, so that's what we had to do, and now we are going to create a separate macro. Now it's not we're not going to use the %let statement, but we'll use the simputx function that will help us create a new value. So data, sometimes you do not want to create a new data set, but basically that's what we are doing. Don't create a data set, but still store our data. So that's the point. When you're typing data null, set total underscore purge. That's the data set that we are using. We're using this data set that we created before, total underscore purge. Okay, and we have to use the call simputx function or call. And we tell SAS that we want our mean, and that's what we are going to create. It's going to be called mean, that new function, and that new variable that we are creating. Total purchase mean is where that new mean has to come from, and run, of course. So let me just explain it to you in a comment. Creating a macro variable. Remember that this is not a regular variable, it's a macro variable that will work across the whole program that you are creating. Creating a macro variable called mean to retrieve values from the total purge data set. So that's what we are doing here. And now let's just run it. You will not see any results, but you will see it actually later. Let me check if it worked. Okay, so simputx, sorry, yeah, that's the point. So not simput, but simputx. Okay, so I guess did I not run it all? Total purge, okay, yeah, it should be total purchase mean. What is wrong? I just have to check it out, why it didn't work. Did I miss something? Okay, yeah, I see. So that's the problem with prompts from SAS. So simputx, yeah, somehow I don't know why, but it gets inserted twice. But I mean, it's okay, you know, like as long as you read the log and as long as you correct it, it's fine. So now this is our data set, and that's pretty much all we have. We don't have any errors. One observation was read from the data set, work total purge, and yes, that's pretty much it. And that's exactly what we wanted to be read. So let's go and let's continue now with this simputx. So you created, or we created, a variable that is called mean, but this variable is just a macro variable. So basically, to call the new variable in the new data set, use and mean, or and its name, right? And its name. And that's all. That's how you will call that variable. So let's come back to our data set that is called client purchases. And if you remember, for the client purchases here, we created the end set variable. It's here, right? So BSTA for 5 client purchases, and that's exactly what we are going to call. So we'll go here, data, and we will say, for example, we will call it proportion set and set 2. That's the set we created before. Mean equals and mean, but actually we don't need to create a mean. I just want to keep it there. Proportion, I just want to show to you that it's the same variable across all of that, and it will be total underscore purchase over and mean. So we're still using to calculate everything here. We could have used this mean over there, but I'm gonna just use the mean variable, the mean macro variable that we created. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let's run it, and let's also proc print it. Proc print data equals proportion, yes, run, and let's add some observations. Let's say 10, and also let's do title printing the ratio, and that should be pretty much it. That's all we wanted to do. Okay, so let's do it, and let's see what we have as a result. So now we have this proportion, and you can say, for example, that this client that we have, client whose ID is number 1, the proportion of spending is actually 1.039 blah 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 times greater, and so on. So that's the point. That's the point that we do, and this is actually for each shopping instance that we have here. So in fact, sometimes I believe that some customers can have maybe more than one time being mentioned here, but the point is that we are calculating proportion per each instance as well, not per instance like by row, right? So we can see that here the spending was like almost equal to the mean. Here it was 2 times greater. Here it was about 50% less, and so on. So that can help you identify the customers whose spending is above the mean, and then you can decide, oh, okay, so somebody is spending 5 times above the mean, so maybe we should make them some offer, or if somebody is spending less, so maybe we should give them some promotions to increase their spending, to increase our sales, and so on. So that's the point. That's the point of creating a macro like this. Okay. So now let's go also, and again, you can sort customers, and let's do this. So let's proc sort data equals customers from the proportion by proportion, actually, the new variable. Run, and we're going to do it by descending again, so that we could see top, sorry, so this is going to be out prop sorted, and we can go for proc print data equals prop sorted, and run, and let's say that we want to see top 15 spending customers above the mean. So that's that ratio is going to help us see those customers whose spendings are above the mean that we identified. I mean, you can definitely do a lot of more things here, but this is like something that is very simple to do. And now we have their do we have the IDs? Yes, we have the IDs, and also we can check out here by how much the expenditure is above the mean, right? So that's the point. Now we can get their names, and we can maybe contact them. Okay, so this is the idea.